Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. The killings continue in Kern County as a man is shot dead in downtown Bakersfield last night. The latest on the investigation coming up.
Breaking overnight, Governor Newsom and his family are under quarantine after being exposed to coronavirus. What the governor had to say coming up.
And as coronavirus cases surge across America, millions are hitting the road on what's known as the busiest travel week of the year. This comes as the CDC warns that the coronavirus is going to be running rampant during the holiday. This is Monday, November 23rd, 2020. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Sunrise. It is 5 a.m. I'm Alex Fisher.
And I'm Nicole Gitsky in for Maddie Jansen this morning. Now, we are seeing some cooler conditions today, as I think every day, usually.
It was
a
very nice weekend, especially since I know a lot of people are kind of gearing up for the holiday season. And looking at the forecast, Thanksgiving is officially on the 7-day.
Yeah, let's send things over to Kevin Charette with a look outdoors right now.
Yeah, Nicole's a little lost right now. She's not used to being up this early, so we're going to have fun this morning. And temperatures are a little bit cool this morning, so definitely grab a jacket. Daytime highs have been very nice, and that is going to continue for us. The one thing we're seeing this morning is a little bit of cloud cover. I want to show you the satellite and radar right now. Nothing on radar, but definitely seeing a few high clouds pushing through the area. And we've also got a little patchy fog with that. So keep that in mind if you're going to be traveling this morning. I did see that along the parkway as I was heading there. As we take a look at our temperatures for today, possibly, I'm trying to get the weather computer to wake up. Well, I'm going to step off screen, go to the weather computer, and push the button here. As we take a look at the temperature right now, we've got 47 degrees, a west-southwest wind at 3. And as we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast here for you today, lower 60s expected, so another comfortable day. It was a comfortable weekend. We've got 39 degrees in Tehachapi, a west-northwest wind at 14. Now, I am expecting the breezy conditions in the mountains and the desert throughout the day, and you can see the strongest of the winds. If you're heading south over the Grapevine, that's where we're seeing the strongest of the winds, but we still have that breeze through Tehachapi and also into the desert. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour, and you can see upper 40s expected as we progress here into the afternoon. Can't rule out a few lower 50s as well. We'll send it back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. First this morning, a man is dead after being shot in downtown Bakersfield. It happened just before 9:30 last night. Police responded to the shooting in an alley of H Street, just north of Palm Street. Officers say they found a man that had been shot in the head. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Police did not release the name of the man who died or any other information on the shooter. If you have any information, you're asked to call police at 327-7111. This is the 115th homicide in Kern County this year, making it a record-breaking year for killings. Meantime, the sheriff's office is investigating a shooting in Buttonwillow. It happened just before 6:30 Saturday night on Front Street. When deputies arrived, they say they found a man shot in the back. He was airlifted to Kern Medical and is expected to survive. His name was not released, nor was any information on the shooter. If you know anything about this shooting, you're asked to call the sheriff's office at 861-3110. You can also call the secret witness line at 322-4040. And another non-fatal shooting Saturday morning near Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Bakersfield police say it happened around 10:30. Officers were sent to the area of South King Street and East California Avenue at the northwest corner of the park after receiving a ShotSpotter alert of 11 shots fired. The victim, who had multiple gunshot wounds, brought himself to a hospital. The victim's injuries are described as moderate. No information on the shooter was provided.
And new this morning, California Governor Gavin Newsom and his family under quarantine, isolating at home after 3 of Newsom's children were exposed to a CHP officer who tested positive for COVID-19. This information from a tweet the governor made last night. Newsom says his entire family tested negative, but will adhere to local guidance by quarantining for 14 days. And the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca have reported that late-stage trials for their COVID-19 vaccine showed it prevented about 90% of people from developing the coronavirus. The results reached 90% when people were given a half dose, followed by a full dose 1 month later. When given 2 full doses a month apart, however, the vaccine was only 62% effective. 2 other drug makers, Pfizer and Moderna, last week reported preliminary results from late-stage trials showing that their COVID-19 vaccines were almost 95% effective. And this as COVID-19 cases skyrocket across the nation, the U.S. now surpassing 12 million confirmed cases. According to NBC News data, more than 255,000 Americans have died. New daily cases are approaching 200,000. On Friday, the country recorded more than 198,500, a new record. States across the nation are seeing a surge in cases, and some states like California are bringing back restrictions to try and slow the spread. And here at home, Kern County Public Health announces 203 new cases yesterday. Now that brings the county's total to 38,519 positive cases since March. To date, Kern County has lost 445 lives due to the virus after 5 new deaths were announced Saturday. Over 9,000 people are recovering at home, while 64 remain isolated in local hospitals with more serious conditions.
And as cases soar across the U.S. and throughout the state, the governor's curfew order is facing some backlash after going into effect over the weekend.
It has no value and no bearing on life itself. It's not going to stop the coronavirus by us not being here at 10 o'clock at night.
As the curfew went into effect Saturday night at 10 o'clock, protesters had already taken to the streets outside the Kern County Museum and on L Street in Bakersfield College parking lot. That's right across the street from our KGT studios. These protesters were not the only ones challenging state orders. Local restaurants like Wickie's Wine Bar allowed customers to come in after 10 p.m. and Maggie's Sunrise Cafe is still allowing indoor dining. Aside from these exceptions, many restaurants follow the state order and close their doors.
We're shutting down the restaurant at 10 o'clock. As soon as everybody's done eating, everybody's going to have to leave.
Now, Rod Crawford is the owner of Pyrenees Cafe in North Bakersfield, I should say. He says he does not agree with the curfew, but he says he'll enforce it so his restaurant does not get shut down. The state order applies to all counties in the purple tier, including Kern. That's those counties at high risk of spreading COVID. It says people can only leave their homes after 10 p.m. to go to the grocery store, perform essential work, or even pick up food. But local law enforcement has no plans to crack down on private gatherings, with the sheriff's office saying flat out they will not respond to calls for only large gatherings. The curfew will remain in effect until December 21st. It runs each night from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning. And another act of defiance this weekend as a local club hosts a gathering health officials say poses a significant health threat to our community. Flyers obtained by 17 News shows the group Kern County 4x4 Off-Road planned the event that started Saturday night at 10. They advertised their location with Google Map coordinates which traces the event to Southwest Bakersfield. The page's Instagram account tells partygoers to wear a mask, but videos from the group posted this week shows crowds of dozens, if not hundreds of people in close contact with no masks or any other measures to keep visitors safe from the virus. This all comes this same day 334 new cases of COVID-19 were announced. That is the highest caseload Kern has seen in months.
And one of the most important things you can do to help slow the spread in our community is get tested. And Bakersfield College is once again hosting a free testing site. It's happening tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the BC parking lot at Haley Street and University Avenue. The site will be operated by Kern County Public Health in partnership with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. No appointments are necessary to pick up a test. However, attendees are asked to wear a mask and socially distance while on the site. They'll also be handing out free face masks to those who don't have one.
And despite warnings and a dramatic increase in the number of coronavirus cases and deaths across the country, with the TSA reporting this morning more than 1 million people were screened at security checkpoints at airports yesterday. The second time they've seen numbers that high in the past 3 days, and the highest number of travelers since the pandemic began. Those airports, possibly one of the riskiest places for anyone to be right now, and that's where we find Jay Gray this morning at O'Hare in Chicago with a closer look.
Hey there, good morning, Alex. Early morning here in Chicago, and already we're seeing travelers at O'Hare Airport. Look, the number of people flying across the country has really been on a steady increase over the last couple of weeks, just like infections with the virus. And this morning, through the day, a crowd expected not only here at O'Hare, but at airports across the country.
For a lot of people, packed roads and airports are a holiday tradition.
People are traveling and going to see family and friends, a lot of those decisions are being made last minute to make those trips.
Trips that doctors, nurses, health officials, city and state leaders have for weeks been urging travelers not to take.
You should not be traveling. Right now, COVID is surging across the entire United States.
In many cases, spread as groups and families gather from across the country. Still, for some, spending months cooped up and the pull of seeing family and friends feels stronger right now than the risk of infection.
We just felt like, okay, well, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better, so, we might as well just try to just have a little bit of fun without getting sick.
Passengers are required to wear masks, and airports are trying to enforce social distancing.
No one is 6 feet apart. Like, everyone's kind of 3 feet apart or 2 feet apart. It's horrible. So it's bad to travel right now.
That concern driving some travelers to the road. AAA says 80% of fall trips will be by car.
The car just offers so much security to people. It's your own space, right? You know who's going to be with you.
Still, health teams worry about exposure because they say the virus is growing and traveling this holiday season as well.
And this week really just the beginning of the holiday travel season, a season that many fear will spark the highest rate of infection we've seen with COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. In Chicago, Jay Gray, 17 News.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. And a local black-owned business will be in the spotlight this weekend. The Bakersfield branch of the NAACP is hosting the Buy Black event this Saturday. It's being held at 4410 Weibel Road from noon till 4 p.m. Organizers say men, women, and children entrepreneurs will be selling goods at this pop-up and shop event. Social distancing measures will be in place during this outdoor event. And we know you've heard this before, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, things have to be done a little bit differently this year. That includes the iconic Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. NBC's Chris Pallone explains.
Thanksgiving will be a lot different this year because of COVID-19, but one thing you can count on is millions of Americans will tune into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on NBC.
We'll still be doing a live parade on Thanksgiving Day, but it's going to be shortened, and it's going to be something that's only for the viewers at home.
That means no crowds lining the streets of Manhattan as marching bands, floats, and balloons make their way to Herald Square. Instead, performances will take place only on television near Macy's iconic flagship store, utilizing every precaution to stop the virus's spread.
Safety is our number one priority.
That means the number of people involved has been cut by 75%. There will be masks and social distancing. And those trademark Macy's helium balloons will be tethered to vehicles this year instead of being walked by dozens of balloon handlers. But for viewers, it will still be the parade they've seen for decades.
That viewers can expect to see a lot of the same stuff that they know and love, that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade brings every single year.
And there will still be big stars like Dolly Parton, BB Rexa, and Jordan Sparks. 18 big helium balloons and 35 floats, including one presented by a big producer of Thanksgiving turkeys, Jenny O.
And the crazy thing is there has never been a turkey company in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Lots of clowns, my favorites. And much to my own personal terror, there will still be clowns. Way too many clowns. I can't deal with the clowns. No Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade would be complete without a special visitor from the North Pole, a symbol of hope in a year that truly needs it. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.